Mayor Kathi Hemken from the city of New Hope joining us once again for an update of what's new in the city. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Hi, Dave. Just fine, thanks.
Thanks for being with us. We have quite a few things to talk about, a lot in Park and Rec, so get ready to get active. Let's begin, though, with 169 and the noise wall. I understand there's been quite a bit of discussion about this. Give us a little recap, a look back, and maybe a look forward to what's going to happen, you hope.
Well, the noise walls are partly paid for by the state. And so those go up from Medicine Lake Road, at least in New Hope, from Medicine Lake Road to like 63rd. The problem is they didn't put any money aside for maintenance. And our noise walls are made of wood and they were stained and now they're looking pretty shabby. So we're trying to get them to put some money aside and get those noise walls painted or stained or something so it doesn't look like we're the poor cousins in the north.
And you have a representative that is working hard on this as well, as taking it as one of his issues to see if something can be done?
Well, currently Cedric Frazier was elected to the House of Representatives, and I think this is going to be one of his first bills. And Cedric, as you remember, was part of the city council, and so he heard about all the woes of having the icky-looking walls. So hopefully we'll get some money, and they'll fix them.
Very good. We'll keep people up to date on that. Let's talk about community development. And one is Hy-Vee, doing very well in the city of New Hope, but now a lot of online requests. What is going on with Hy-Vee that might be some changes?
Well, about a year ago, Hy-Vee proposed that they wanted to build like a canopy on the west side of the building so that they could do online pickups under that canopy. Well, then COVID hit pretty hard and they started doing a lot of online stuff, and it just it got put in the back burner. So now they're coming back and looking at it again. They'll come to the Planning Commission with plans. It's going to be a little bigger than they had originally thought, but it seems to me people are ordering a lot online, and they're picking up now in the parking lot, and they want to have a covering over that. So they're back in business again to do the online under a cover.
Speaking of COVID, let's talk a little more about community development, some of the help they've been giving to businesses. What's the latest there?
Well, Hennepin County has grants, and so they have granted to small businesses and nonprofits 60 grants in New Hope, totaling over $504,000. So we are getting some money to help businesses with the COVID problem, but of course they all need more. They really need us to go to those businesses and help them out.
All right, more information on the city's website about that, newhopemn.gov. That will connect you to the county's website as well. State of the City event is coming up once again, but it's going to look a little bit different this year and a different partner as well. Tell us about that.
It is. Well, Kirk McDonald and I will be doing the State of the City on the 3rd of February at 8:30 in the morning, and they can go virtually on WebEx to see that. There's a phone number on the screen. If you're not on WebEx and you're not part of the business networking group, you can get the information so you can look on WebEx to see that. I think they're going to replay it on CCX. We don't have the times. We'll have that next week for you, I would imagine. But it will look a little bit different. We were coordinating with Twin West. They're not going to be as much a part of it. We are part of Twin West, which is now Minneapolis. It's part of the Minneapolis Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. But it's always fun to see what's going on in the city and all the wonderful things the city staff has been doing this last year.
All right, we'll let people know if that is available for people to view at a later time. But again, Jeff Alger, the one at the city that you can contact to get more information about getting involved. Let's talk about online payment option. This is something the city has available. Tell us a little bit of what that is and how residents can use that.
Well, you can go into e-permits on the city website, and you can pay your permit fees for a project you're doing. So it's open to residents and contractors to do that. Now, I just want to warn people, if you're doing the work yourself as a resident, you need a permit, you can pay that permit online with a credit card. But if you're having a contractor, you really should have the contractor get that permit. Mm-hmm. That way, if the inspector comes out and they find something wrong, they can actually go back to the contractor rather than back to you, the resident. So have your contractors get those online and they can pay for it online. It's just trying to make everything easier for people.
Let's take a quick look back at something that happened recently in New Hope. There were a lot of extra dogs in town for a very good purpose. What was going on in the city?
Well, our police department and our canine unit organized something that the trials they call them, and it was all the dogs from around the Minnesota area. There were 54 of them with their handlers. It was done virtually, so you can see it, but they asked that people not attend. When you have 54 dogs and their handlers, you really don't want a lot of people around, just in case something goes wrong. But it went off flawlessly. It was a beautiful day.
Great.
Everybody had a really good time. And it was really a big boost for New Hope to host that.
Congratulations to the police department for doing that. Let's go to Public Works and talk a little bit about snow, of course. Quite a few things to touch on here. First is just some friendly reminders about getting snow out from around hydrants and off sidewalks. What are some of the policies and recommendations from the city?
Well, if you happen to have a hydrant in front of your house, please go out with a shovel and dig it out, so that if there is a fire and we need to hook up to that, the firemen don't have to take the time to dig that out. When you're trying to put out a fire and you need that water now. Mm-hmm. And spending an extra half hour to dig out the hydrant is not a really good idea for the firefighters. So please clear that out for them if you can. The sidewalks, when it snows, the sidewalks should be cleared by the owners, either the homeowners or the business owners, and they have 12 hours to do that, or they can be fined. We have an emergency snow emergency, I guess it would be called, right, if there's 2 inches of snow or more. Mm-hmm. And so if there is 2 inches or more and there's a snow emergency, get your car off the street. Otherwise, it's going to be ticketed and towed. If you don't know if there's a snow emergency, you can sign up for something called Code Red, and that website's on the bottom of the screen. So sign up for that. It'll give you just some information. You can also look at the reader boards. It'll be on the television. Okay. There's lots of places you can see that in and out, just move that car off the street. And it has to be off the street until the streets are plowed curb to curb.
Very good.
And we do that just because it's easier for the plows, and we don't want anyone to get hurt. The other thing is your garbage can. Don't put that in the street, because honestly, it's going to get hit by the snowplow and it's going to tip over and you get to pick up the mess. So please leave that in your driveway up a little bit so that the snowplow isn't running it over, and it'll just be easier for everybody.
One last reminder about the snow. This is more related to kids or families with kids. Being very careful in those snowbanks on the side of the road. They always look fun to play in, but the city's going to be around those areas. What's the reminder here?
Well, when the snowplow goes by, of course, they build up big lumps of snow. They're right at the corners of your driveway, and it's very tempting for kids. And the other thing the kids do is they like to make a little snow fort in there. Well, what happens is sometimes the snowplows come by later, and they kind of knock the tops off those. If there happens to be a child inside, they can't see that child. So that is not a toy. Please don't let them do that. They want to build a snow fort, do it more into the yard or in the backyard where it's a lot safer for them, but not in the piles of snow from the snowplow.
Very good point. All right, enough talk about snow. Let's move ahead to something a little warmer. Meadow Lake Drawdown. This is something that will be happening later on this summer. What is the need here, and what happens with the lake drawdown?
Well, we have very shallow lakes. And in shallow lakes, you get a lot of that green, mucky stuff. And there's a technical word for that I don't know. And one of the things they're trying this time is they're going to try to draw the water down. They'll close off the inlet valve and get that water drawn down. And they'll then treat the bottom of the pond or the lake. And hopefully we'll keep some of that muck out of there. Now, they're doing that. We got 2 grants. We just got the second one recently. And so we're going to be doing that in August or September of 2021. The reason we do that in August or September is so that turtles can relocate. And the turtles, if we start drying the waters down, the turtles know that they need to move. I don't know how they know. They probably get an email. And they know they need to move, and they'll go to some place where the water is deeper. And so it's been suggested to us that August and September are the times to do that drawdown.
All right, be watching
so the lakes
for
will
that.
The lakes will look horrible at the end of the summer.
But in the end, it should be better for everyone. All right, let's move on to that long list of Park and Rec. As I mentioned, a lot going on. Although one place that not a lot going on, as you might expect, is the golf course. Just a quick reminder there about the clubhouse. I know a lot of people like to use that in the winter months, but not this year. Is that correct?
That's correct. Of course, the golf course is closed. The clubhouse is closed, but there is somebody in the clubhouse that will be taking phone calls or at least return phone calls that are left there. So if you wanted some information about leagues or like when they might be starting or how much they would cost or getting a season pass, just general information, you can always call the golf course to do that. But they're closed.
All right. The place of all the activity now is, of course, the ice arena. Give us a little overview, and we have a couple points here on the ice arena. Let's begin with a little bit about what can be done as far as the youth and what you have to do if you even come into the ice arena.
Well, first of all, coming into the ice arena, you have to wear a mask. And if you're bringing a child for a scrimmage or a practice, you can have one adult per child. That adult has to be pre-registered with the organization that's renting the ice.
Okay.
So we know who's in the building. If they're over 8, no one should be there for the scrimmages. For the games that they're doing, and they're starting those now, they can have 2 spectators per player. And again, wear your mask, keep social distance. And only 150 people are allowed in the building at any one time. So don't come early thinking you're going to be able to come and watch a bunch of games. You're just not going to be able to do that. We have to abide by these rules, or they're going to shut that ice arena down again. So
Makes
we're
sense.
pretty strict about who can be there.
Another amenity of the ice center is the walking track, and that is open, correct? People can come in and use that?
That is open, and they can come in to use that, and they just go up the stairs and walk around that. I just want to make one other comment about the teams that are playing. The kids that are coming are expected to be fully dressed in their uniforms. The locker rooms will not be open. They cannot change into their skating stuff there. They have to come fully dressed, except for their helmets, their gloves, and pads, I think. Otherwise, we want everything on them, and or their skates. Yeah, that'd be a good thing. Put their skates on there.
Exactly.
And then take them off and put shoes on and go, but no using of the locker rooms.
Okay, very good. Good point there. How about the community gyms? What is the situation there as far as use by New Hope residents and other organizations?
Same kind of deal.
Okay.
They're open. Wear a mask. If you have a young one under 8, you can stay. If they're over 8, you drop them off and come back and pick them up later for the scrimmages. The games that are played, there will be, again, 2 people to watch those games per player, and you have to register. No more than 150 people, so it's all the same rules as the ice arena. We just have to do that.
Let's move outside. The weather cooperating a little bit now for people like outdoor winter activities. How about the ice arenas and parks? What are some reminders to remember there?
Well, the outside ice rinks are open, but the warming houses are not. So be prepared to skate, but not to get warm. And they just have to do that. And the parks will be open to play on, but of course they won't be sanitized between the kids playing. So if you're going to bring your kids to the park, again, take them home, wash their hands, get them kind of cleaned up before they go. They're welcome to play there, but be aware that they're not being sanitized.
All right.
And this year they're renting out all that equipment for people, the activity packs. So they can rent skis and poles and boots and snowshoes for a 2-week period. When that stuff comes in, they sanitize it, get it ready for the next time it's going out. That seems to be a real popular thing with people.
Fantastic.
And speaking of the skis,
right.
I understand that you can use the ice or the golf course to go skiing.
Very good.
So these cross-country skiers are there. Please stay off the greens.
Right.
There's some hills. You can just use that. It's a nice, quiet place to be, but please respect it. It is a golf course.
Just like we did with the snow talk earlier, let's go to something a little warmer. How about picnic shelters for the summer? Now I understand is the time to take some action and get a reservation in.
Yep, they're hoping to rent those out this summer. Of course, they've got all the rules they have to abide by. We've gone over them a couple times, but you can make reservations to rent those for the summer of 2021, and they're available. If you don't want to rent it, you just want to show up and use it, you're taking the risk that you won't be the only one there.
Sure.
So you should, if you have a group that's coming, you should call and check and make sure that it's available and that to rent it, then it'll stay available for you.
We should also mention that a lot of the programs in Park and Rec continue on either in person or virtually. So some of the favorites, obviously, with the gymnastics and some of the other programs still taking place. Is that right?
They are. There will be no spectators to the
Okay.
gymnastics. Most of the gymnasts will have to wear masks. There's some activities of the gymnasts that don't. I don't know what those rules are, but of course, if you're in gymnastics, you know what they are. We're doing that just to protect our players. So no spectators.
Very good point. All right, let's move ahead again to spring and summer and talk about some activities coming up. First of all, softball. I understand time to sign up your softball team.
Well, if you're a returning team, you should be signing up now. I think sign up for the new teams as starting on the 14th of February. So if you're an older team and you haven't gotten something, you need to get in touch with Park and Rec and say, I'm interested. Where's my stuff? If you're a new team, wait till the 14th of February and then you can sign up then.
Okay, and lots of summer activities being planned, spring activities as well. And you've got some information coming out for residents, so they should keep their eye out for some of the new guides for what they can sign up for.
Yep, it's called In Motion.
Okay.
They're working on it now. It should be out in March. I believe they're going to try to do In Motion online. You can request a hard copy, I think. I'm not positive. They might be available at City Hall, but I know that you can go online and go into the Park and Rec site and look at In Motion. So
All
that
right.
should be ready about the middle of March.
And website again, newhopemn.gov to find out more about that. And also about this next topic, how about some jobs? I understand now is the time to get your name in possibly for some jobs for the pool or other places around town during the summer.
Well, we have a lot of summer jobs in New Hope. Things like umpires for the little kids' games, umpires for the big kids' games, softball games. We need the people at the aquatic center. We also need people at the different parks to help there. We need some maintenance people. So lots of summer stuff available. For the aquatics, if you don't have a lifeguard license, it doesn't matter. Please apply anyway. We can help you get that if it's possible. If not, there's other jobs at the pool that should be available. It's such a beautiful pool. And honestly, we're going to open in June, I hope.
Let's hope so. Let's speak a little bit more about summer. I understand the city talking with the Lions about Hay Day. What is the discussion like here?
Well, of course, that's put on by the New Hope Lions. But the city, of course, has a big part in that. And so they're talking with them, with the Lions about activities. I believe the last time I heard they were going to do a one-day event. I don't believe there's going to be fireworks. It'll be a one-day event, probably during the day. I'm guessing they'll have the kiddie parade. They'll probably have some booths like they usually do. Of course, the softball tournament will be going on. And I have not heard of a date as yet, but some work is being done on it. And the new title would be Hay, H-E-Y, Hay Days. And a one-day event, and it'll probably mostly be taking part at Civic Center Park.
Excellent. We will keep people up to date as more plans are set for that. Two other quick reminders. One about snowmen. You would like people to get out and build some snow structures. Is this right?
I would. Every time it snows, you have an opportunity. And so go out and make a snowman, a snow woman, a snow dog, a sculpture, anything your little heart desires. Take a picture and name it, and then send it in. The website's at the bottom of the screen. Send that picture in with the name and your contact information. You can send as many photos as you want. Please don't send 18 photos of the same structure. That doesn't help. But just one, the photo can have the children in it if you want. These sculptures can be made by a neighborhood, by a single family, a single person, a business. Find an odd place to have a snowman. Just anything you can think of that might be fun. And we'll do that judging after the 31st of March. That's when the deadline is.
Okay.
And there's some cash prizes available.
That sounds like fun. Final note, Mayor, you wanted to pass along a little advice about scamming and maybe a little alert to residents of some things that are going on potentially right now that they should be aware of.
Well, this seems to be the season for that.
Yeah.
A couple things. Those checks coming out from the government. Of course, there are people out there that would like to relieve you of that check. And now with your taxes being due and the IRS, Just reminding people that you do not get a call from the IRS that says they're going to put you in jail. That is not a legitimate call. If the IRS needs to talk to you, they'll send you a letter. The same thing with that check. That check should just be deposited into your account. Please don't just stick it in the drawer. Don't go to Target and get gift cards to give to an unknown person, because that's a scam. If you have any doubt at all whether it is not a scam or not, you're welcome to call the police department and they will talk to you about that. But please, we just want you to be very careful about that. Once the money is given to a scammer, it is impossible to get back. So just don't be subject to that.
Some great advice for residents.
And
well,
before we go away, I want to make one comment about the sidewalks. A lot of times after we plow the streets and we plow our own sidewalks in front of the parks, if our staff has time and not done in overtime, they will do the other sidewalks. But that's not a guarantee. That really that job belongs to the owner of that sidewalk, which is the resident or the business owner. So we don't want anyone to get hurt. We really don't want you walking in the street, but know that it isn't because we're lazy. It's just we have really other priorities, and that's getting those streets cleaned off.
Very good. Good to know. And again, if you have any questions about the snow time during the year here or any other of the events coming up, go to newhopemn.gov. Great information there. Mayor Hemken, thanks once again for your time, and we will talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Dave.